all these years later. It got me screaming like, life is gorgeous and you add to the scenery, but I'm not sure of what you mean to me. I ain't known of you for some time, but it don't take a whole day to recognize sunshine. So I gotta know, yeah I gotta know. Are you looking for a DD on the honor roll with a lot of dough that's always down to go? Or do you just want someone with common goals? Are you looking for one man or one night? Someone who stays or leaves before the sunlight? This ain't a courtroom, no judgment from me, but the jury's out, I need a testimony. Have you been with a rapper before? If I came to your city, would you see me on tour? Said I had a metaphor, but I think I can give you more than everything you need. What's he got that I don't got, girl? Give me just a thing or two. I don't have all the answers, but there's no question what we should do. Are you down to your luck? Do you wanna make out, babe? Or do you wanna maybe lay under the stars and just stare up at affection? The night said that it's young and I'm relaying the message. Feeling good? Or down to your luck? Do you wanna make out, babe? Or do you wanna maybe lay under the stars and just stare? And I just want you here with me tonight. Are you high on life? Or are you down to your luck? Do you wanna make out, babe? Or do you wanna maybe lay under the stars and just stare up at affection? The night said that it's young and I'm relaying the message. Why don't you just come on over? Why don't you just stay with me? Said I can give you more than everything you need. What's he got that I don't got, girl? Give me just a thing or two. I don't have all the answers, but there's no question what we should do.
Level up, level up, level up, level up. Holla at me, better measure up. Swerving in the Lambo, rev it up. Level up, level up, level up, level up. Talking money, we can settle up. It's my style now. It's like I'm floating off the ground now. I'm on another level, Cartier on the bezel, yeah. I get the money and run, I get the money and run. He think I'm falling in love, but it's just no on the bluff. I get it, I live it, tryna fit in my world, but it's far from basic. No, I'm not complacent, got it so good, no, you can't replace it. Level up, level up, level up, level up, love. Talking money, we can settle up. If you want me, better level up. I've been on, 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 I've been on. If you wanna get with me, you better level up. If you wanna get with me, you better level up. Or you cannot get with me. Level up, level up, level up. Holla at me, better measure up. Swerving in the Lambo, rev it up. Level up, level up, level up, level up. Talking money, we can settle up. If you want me, better level up. Level up, level up. Holla at me, better measure up. Level up, level up,
Hey guys, hopefully you can hear me. We'll know here in a second when all of a sudden, like, it comes in through the Bluetooth. But yeah, how are you guys doing tonight? I know we're kind of awkward right now, but, blah, 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 blah. Can't think straight. I just, and all that jazz. So tonight, if you don't follow me on Instagram, pretty much the poll this week was 80s musician or tacos. And tacos won. It was kind of funny. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I had people messaging me, you know, saying, hey, tacos or we riot. And tacos for the win and all kinds of shenanigans. And I appreciated all that commentary. I've got to message you all back because I haven't had a chance. Life's been crazy. I don't know about anybody else if you've been going back to work or getting back into like the swing of like doing certain things just because it's opening up. But yeah, work has been pretty crazy. Just getting back into like the whole swing of things and actually being productive, if that makes any sense for lack of better words. Gotten really creative in terms of like actually what we've done for work. But yeah, for the most part. Also, new desk. Or rather, I took a desk that I had out in my living room and I put it in here because I realized when we crocheted last week, which, sorry guys to anybody who was there for last live stream, we were only there for like an hour and a half, and it's mainly because, dang it, I knew I forgot something. Hold on a second. I wanted to show you guys what we actually managed to crochet. Such a ding dong. Oh no. I wanted to make sure I had it ready and it just didn't happen that way. Anyway, so in case you missed out on last week's live stream or you just don't follow us on live streams, we decided to share something that we found and we're crocheting for the holiday season. And I think through the winter, because man, this seems like something epic that I just need to wear all the time. I think I want to turn it into like a cape or something, or a really wicked cape. I started thinking about that. I could turn this into a cape. Anyway, nerdy rants. But essentially, oh come on, sketchbook, don't be a jerk. So this is what we've been crocheting. The green already existed, but now you can see skull faces that are half green and half yellow. I'm excited, nerdily excited about this. But we managed to do a few rows, can't talk, gosh. A few rows on Sunday. Just sat there, watched movies, horror movies to be exact, because I had a lot of like your regular movies or your regular TV shows per se. There's a lot of cancer in them, and or somebody dies of cancer. I just have the gnarliest knack recently for like picking the movie where somebody dies of cancer, and of course I end up bawling my eyeballs out, and I'm just not down for that. I don't know if anybody else can relate. Let me know down in the comments. I would really appreciate that, because I can't be the only one. But I've told a few friends, like I've been upfront and honest about it, but I'm just like, you guys are assholes for never telling me that this movie had cancer in it. Anyway, so I did the green towards the beginning of the year. I want to say it was towards the beginning of the year, and I've kind of decided that I'm going to do yellow, and then once this yellow runs out, I'm going to be doing purple and orange. So I figure orange is going to come next, and then purple, just so it goes light, dark. I don't know. I might even add some black. I haven't decided yet. But I know that I only had done not even 1.5 lines of crochet when I cut out last live stream. And also I realized, going back to the desk, and that's why I was showing you this, is that it's kind of impossible to show you guys other things that I create. Like if I want to do sewing, I have to have this marble, I guess it was marble, I don't know what you would call it. I want to say it was faux marble. I don't know what you would, marble-ish desk or basically table, and it was beautiful and I loved it, but it had its limitations in terms of like actually being able to position my camera in different angles. And so I was like, you know what, this needs to change so at least we can have different setups. And also, I got another third camera, just in case we want to do a different angle from time to time, figure spice it up a little bit. Plus it also kind of levels up the drawing game, you know, in terms of when I create my time-lapse 30 rants that I should just stop talking about. But this kind of stemmed into it because I realized like I want to share other things that I create in live streams, especially because I work on a lot of creations, and you know, sometimes that's like the most boringest time, but I figure, you know what, hey, if you're doing something and creating something with friends, then it kind of like evens itself out, if that makes any sense. Because you're sitting there and you're doing something, you're getting something done, but then also you're like hanging out and talking to people. And I figure, you know what, I can't be the only one that wants to create stuff but doesn't want to be all by themselves. And it kind of led me into OBS, but I haven't decided about that yet. Anyway, I rant. These are like little nerdy questions I have, but ultimately that's why there is a new desk now, just because I wanted the ability to actually be able to clip my camera in different places and actually build, I like building my little contraptions that things sit on. I like taking what I have and creating from there. Maybe someday I'll share it, but I realized that I need some versatility, especially when it came to showing you guys crocheting, because it just wasn't cutting out that whole desk. Like I realized, like even if I tried to buy something to draw, I mean to basically share stuff, or even if I do buy a contraption to put onto that desk, it's specific to that desk and I can't adhere anything to the table, and it was frustrating. I don't know if you guys can relate to being frustrated by something, but yeah, that's what we worked on last week. We've been also working on Inktober stuff. I don't know if you guys are participating in Inktober. It's a touchy subject with everybody, because of the whole scandal that's going on where supposedly Jake Parker stole from Alfonso. But time will tell. I mean, I really do feel for Alfonso, just being that I've known him longer than Jake, not personally, but like on YouTube land. But anyway, that's just a whole nerdy rant for another day. But we are doing Inktober, and so we are doing down. I don't know if you guys can actually hear the rain right now, but oof. Wow. It is storming. This is like the perfect weather for a horror movie. If there's a horror movie out there that you would be watching right now, and so here we have what we did today and what we released. We did the Ahul day before. We did the Black Dog, and we did the Bakaneko. In case you're curious, I will leave a link to the links on YouTube, so that you can check them out. I've delved into tomorrow's drawing, which I'll give you a little hint. We're doing the Wendigo, in case you really like that legend. But we also have a Latin X-Files series that we finished. I'm kind of happy that I finally was able to like release that. I don't know about anybody else, when you sit there and you hold on to something for so long and then you're finally able to like, they can relate to that. Anyway, onward to tonight. So we are going to be drawing tacos. I just wanted to draw tacos, and I was kind of curious to see who would actually pick taco, which I was kind of surprised, like how well it was received. Anyway, so in case you noticed the new desk, that's kind of what's going on there. Trying to pay attention to the chat at the same time, which is kind of tough. But anyway, so if you want to follow us for future polls, definitely check out Instagram. That's usually where we post them. We post them every Thursday, or at least we try to. I won't give a time anymore because essentially we always break that rule and we always end poll on my Instagram. If you want to check it out, it's at Inkeater. Most of my social media is at Inkeater, with the exception of my Twitch, because I want to say I have the username Inkeater, and I might have added an extra R to it because, yeah, that's a thing. I have the worst habit of adding extra letters to things and not realizing, and then not being able to find them. But anyway, long story short, is everything is at Inkeater, and that's in case you want to participate in polls, because this week's poll is tacos, right? But that's why we have a different desk. I'm gonna let the music probably play here in a minute or two. But if you're just joining us, my name's Alethea. I'm an artist and creator, and I go by the artist name Inkeater. I've been drawing and creating stuff for I would say as long as I've been alive, but I would say for the last companies for like a long ass time, about 19 years. But for the most part, I like drawing portraits, so most of my creations are portraits. I also like drawing creatures, so that's kind of like, I'm kind of like in love with cryptids right now. Just because they are my jam, and it was kind of something that I was doing with this is a little Nicaraguan heavy, and it's mainly because, yeah, I am half Nicaraguan, but also, those are the legends that I've just grown up with and I'm most familiar with. So if there's any cryptids you want me to explore, definitely leave a comment down below. So right now we are drawing a taco of sorts. I'm going to be doing like a taco man. I haven't figured out where I'm going to put his hands. I think they should go right here, but I'm not 110% sure. Maybe I want to make them look a little bit crazy looking. That we are doing. So we're going to go with we're not going to go with a veggie taco. We're going to kind of go with like a meat taco. So he's got some, I haven't decided if it's going to be like ground beef or if it's going to be like carnitas. I don't know. Or carne asada. Well, you know what? Let's do like a true. So how are you guys doing tonight? I'm doing pretty dang awesome. Had a lovely day. With the exception of my phone keeps dying. I don't know what's up with my phone and a lot of my electronics, like my Garmin watch. From time to time, it just decides to not want to connect to my device, and then sometimes my Bluetooth acts up, and I'm just like, man, come on, devices, stop being jerks. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. I don't know why, but we're gonna add some lettuce to the taco. Everything looks like squiggles right now, and it's gonna look like squiggles. Physically with color, using my paint set. You know what? I might bust out the watercolors because I haven't watercolored in a while. So we're gonna do a tortilla. I will say that I don't know if you guys have seen the horror movie. I just started thinking about horror movies, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta talk about this horror movie. Granted, I'm gonna be drawing the movie poster just because I love. Well, I'm gonna recreate what I would like to have seen for a movie. To see it because I saw it on what channel was it? I don't think it was a channel per se. I think it was online streaming. Shit. Oops. Sorry if you're offended by cursing. I curse a lot, so shit, what was the name of the movie? Oh, Carne, the taco maker? Or Carne? I know that the movie was called Carne, the taco, it's not the taco salesman. It was Carne that was the horror movie, and then I think it was the taco maker is what it was called. Carne, the taco maker. And essentially it was his own taco stand in this local neighborhood, and not only does he run his own little taco stand in this neighborhood, he lives in this neighborhood, and essentially everybody in town knows him as the Taco Man. And they use tacos, like taco trucks that basically rolls up, and, well, no, it has wheels, but it's not a car per se. And he sells them out of his little rolly cart, and he cooks them right there with his little, with his frying thing. And he chops his veggies right there in the street. And his brother, I believe his brother's name is Memo. I could be wrong. I want to say it is, because I've seen the movie, like, at least, I want to say, if I'm being honest, I've seen this movie probably at least like 7 times. maybe 10. But essentially, it turns out that but I am going to be drawing that sometime in the future on my YouTube channel and talking about the movie, and what I thought about it. It's hands down one of my favorite horror movies, especially if you really into like horror comedy and you like trauma films. It's definitely like kind of like up that alley. So if you like that kind of stuff, you'll probably like Carne. And what's funny is it's actually available on YouTube for free, if I'm not mistaken. So I will leave a link to that in case you are curious. Granted, or you can just wait until, or just subscribe to my YouTube channel at Ink Eater if you wanna. God, I can't talk. Just so that you can keep tabs on how on that particular piece of content, in case you're curious about that. But if you like horror movies, definitely leave me some suggestions. I think I already said that, but I need some new horror movie suggestions, because recently I've been really disappointed by horror movies. And I think I'm gonna actually venture into older horror movies. Somebody, I believe it was, oh man, somebody when I was at the store, or somebody that I know, I don't know if it was at work or if it was online. Somebody recommended to me anyways, this particular director, Herschel something or another. I can't think of what the rest of his name is. I have it written down somewhere. But essentially they were saying that this person does really great films, and they're horror films. And I'm like, ooh, I'm down. And they're older horror, cool. I have realized that I don't like a lot of the horror movies that are out today. I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Granted, I will say the Carne one, if you haven't seen it yet, is really, really good. It's pretty funny. But that's one that I've seen that I really enjoyed. And there's a few others that I've enjoyed, but I want to leave them, like, one of them happens to be, I've talked about it already. If you followed my Latin X-Files series, I talked about La Llorona a little bit. I really wanted, but however, as much as I talked about it and how I didn't like it, I really do want to draw the portrait of one of the characters, because it was very visually captivating. I don't know if he should have 5 fingers or 4. I always feel awkward when I give a cartoon character 4 fingers instead of 5. I don't know, it just always looks weird for me. I'm in such the Halloween mood that I'm like, ooh, can he have like a meat cleaver in his hand? And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about a taco having a meat cleaver, unless he was like, Gorbo, hey Gorbo, yeah, tacos, Carm, I can't remember, oh my goodness, I think it's Carm, right? Let me know if I'm wrong. Anyway, yes, it's tacos, we're drawing tacos tonight. On my Instagram, I did a poll where, it was a choice between either 80s musician or tacos, and everybody chose tacos. Which I'm kind of excited about. I wanted to draw a taco, you know, just because it's Halloween time, and also I just thought it would be fun. Haven't decided. I think I might erase the eyes, but I haven't decided on the face yet. I don't know if I want to make him a creepy taco or not a creepy taco yet. But life is funny. But in case you are looking for a good horror movie, check out Carne. That's C-A-R-N-E. meat in Spanish, and I believe it's on YouTube. Well, at least the last time I checked it was. But that's something that we're planning on soon. His hand is so huge on this side in comparison to this side. I think I want to put something in his hands. Somebody suggest something to good to catch up with you. Yep, it's Carm. I thought it was. You know when you're just sitting there and you're just like, wait a second, I've seen the name written down a couple times and I can't remember if it's Cam or Carm. But hey, but yeah, no, it's great. We do live stream. I don't know if you know that, that we live stream every Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern. At least I try to. And normally whatever we're drawing here is essential, if that's a way of putting it. But yeah, so this week everybody chose tacos. But if you want to participate in future polls and you have Instagram, definitely follow me at Inkeater there. But it's good catching up, and it's good seeing you there in the chat. It's always great seeing an awesome somebody that I actually chat with all the time, or I comment all the time with, back and forth. Life has been interesting. So yeah, we've been watching a lot of horror movies. And then it's kind of awesome because it's Halloween time right now, and they're releasing all the creepy movies. And I have a subscription to Shudder, and that's kind of hit and miss. Like, yeah, hit and miss is the best way that I could describe it. I'm not a fan of the Shudder service. Granted, it's cheap enough that I keep subscribing and I keep hoping that it's gonna improve. Recently saw the movie La Llorona, and it was a bummer fest. So, anybody want to suggest something that we should put in the taco's hand? I'm thinking meat cleaver, but that might just be totally me going with like horror and Halloween vibes. I might just go with it because it sounds funny. But anybody who wants to suggest something that we add to the taco, feel free. Yeah, we've been watching a lot of Shudder movies. There was one recently that I just saw that it was basically these two people in the mountains telling each other progressively scarier stories, scary horror stories, and it was really good. I can't think of the actress's name. I think it's I'm Trying to Scare You, or I'm Going to Scare You. If I can remember it, I will leave it down in the comments below if you guys really like horror movies. If not, feel free to suggest any good movie that you guys have seen lately. I am open. I've been really obsessed with Lovecraft Country now. I don't know if you guys have seen that show yet lately, but it's pretty cool. I keep letting the episodes build up just because I don't want to watch them all. And I'm realizing now that I never started the songs that I'm listening to. Oh, that's fun. So it's been stuck on the same song that I've been listening to the same song, which is kind of funny. That is interesting. Granted, I don't think there's a difference between butter knife and... Well, no. Meat cleaver totally is different than butter knife. We're gonna go with butter knife. But, yeah. If you haven't seen, Lovecraft Country, definitely check it out. I know it's not for everybody, but I am totally a H.P. Lovecraft fan, and everyone who's, seen the series has told me that the book is incredible. Or even people who haven't seen the HBO series, they've told me, no, the book is amazing, and I just hope that the book lives up to the movie. And in some cases, it totally lives up to the series. But it's interesting. It's I don't know, like, I love those kind of like mystery type television shows where you don't know what's going on, and it leaves you on your feet. I like the butter knife. So we're adding the butter knife. You guys can't really see it right now. You probably won't see it until I ink it a little bit more. But I'm loving the butter knife idea. Thank you, Carm. So yeah, I've been watching Lovecraft Country. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, so if you've never seen it, I would say check out a trailer because it's kind of hard to explain. And I'm kind of excited about the movies that are going to possibly come out. I think we need to go a little bit further in fixing the hand because the hand no longer fits the way it's supposed to go. But yeah, I'm excited for horror movies and candy. There's been so many interesting candies that have come out recently in terms of like Halloween candies. I don't know if anybody else is like a candy fiend like I am, but I am totally loving all the new candies that have come out recently. So there's this one specifically, if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's the apple pie Kit Kats. If you can find them, they are absolutely freaking delicious. And if you're somebody who's actually tried Japanese apple pie Kit Kats from Japan, they definitely taste on par with those. So that's probably been my favorite one so far. And then the other two that I found is one's a lollipop that is black and it has watermelon flavor on the inside, but it essentially turns your tongue black and your whole mouth black because the lollipop's black. I'm a sucker for those kinds of things. And then I found another one that was like vampire teeth, and then the blood is like watermelon flavored candy. I mean, I take it, you know, I appreciate the creativity that goes down around Halloween time and just like the weird creations that they come out with. A few years back, Swedish Fish ended up making jelly bean Swedish fish, and it was probably like the most ridiculous, delicious thing on the face of the earth, and I literally bought so many bags on clearance. But yeah, I like all the candy. I could talk about candy for a while. It's probably one of my favorite things. I used to post a lot of candy videos on Ink Eater on my YouTube channel. You can probably find them. I have candy. I know definitely I have a video that I did of all these gummy candies from Israel that my friend had brought me back, and it was just insane. Like, I don't know, like all the different shapes and I guess creations or creatures that other countries make, and I just find it all fascinating. But that's been my favorite thing, is horror movies and candy as of recently. And then they've released a few like really cool Mountain Dew flavors if you're a Mountain Dew fan. I found the Voodoo Mountain Dew, which is the mystery flavor. That one's a little bit on like the soury, sweet tarty taste. So if you're not a fan of that, definitely you're not missing anything. But if you like that kind of flavor, like if you like candy, you'll probably like the Mountain Dew flavor. And then there's this, I think it was like a weird pink lemonade one. I can't remember what that one's called though. So we've got lettuce in the taco. We're gonna say that is carne asada. It may not look like carne asada. We got a butter knife going on in his hand. And I figure, you know, we'll leave the other hand open, like going, wah! Haven't decided on his face yet. I don't know if I like his shoes. Kind of looks like Mickey Mouse shoes. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to see, like, you can see some of what I'm drawing. There should be tofu in the taco. Meow. Hey, Hugh. You know what? Let's make it tofu carne asada. Can we do that? I don't know if you guys have ever had, it's funny enough, Hugh, with carne asada seasoning, like orange, bitter orange, and all the different seasonings. And let me tell you, that was freaking amazing. So you know what? In theory, it's gonna be tofu carne asada, okay? We'll compromise there. So who else is in the chat? Neat candies they have now, just dark chocolate Kit Kats for me here. Oh, okay. Okay, Carm, I gotcha. I will say though, those apple pie ones, if you can find it, just try it once. Just try it once. It's creepy how they make things taste like other things. I don't know. To me, it's insane. Watching reruns of In Search of, I guess I go more on the side of mystery than horror, an old Halloween tradition for me personally. Oh, that's cool. Believe me, like I'm all up in the mystery stuff. I don't know if I don't know if you have Netflix. I don't know if you've seen the new Unsolved Mysteries. I don't know how I feel about the new Unsolved Mysteries, but I love a good mystery. I've been following a lot of YouTubers recently that deal with like mystery files or just disappearances. There's these ones that are, I don't know if the In Search of series is kind of bordering on people that have mysteriously disappeared. There's a guy on YouTube, I think his name is Mr. Ballin. I want to say it's Mr. Ballin. This live stream is over with, but Mr. Ballin does these In Search of, or like, what are they called? Mystery 911s or In Search 911s. It's basically these stories of individuals who have disappeared in weird and mysterious ways that don't necessarily make sense. And or they've just they've just gone off and vanished and no one's ever found the body, nothing. If you're kind of like into that kind of like mystery type stuff, I'm definitely curious about the books. I haven't checked out the books, but you should check out Mr. Ballin on YouTube. And there's a couple more that I really love. Like, I love falling asleep to YouTubers that do just mystery stuff where you don't necessarily have to pay attention to what's actually being like, it's not a visual thing, it's more of like a listening type situation, like almost like an audiobook. Those are my favorites. Somebody who draws, I don't know, like I have a hard time, other than when I watch horror movies, sitting down and actually watching something, just because I'm like, no, I could be doing so many other things. I like to call it idle hand syndrome, just because that's who I am. So if you're just joining us, we are drawing a tofu carne asada taco, holding a butter knife, and I don't know what other toppings we want to add to him. So we've got tofu carne asada, and we've got some lettuce going on. I don't know how I feel about his shoes. They kind of look very Mickey Mousey. But yeah. I normally don't always talk during my live streams. I'm normally just usually drawing, and there's usually music going on. And so it's kind of like fun for a change to draw something that's a little bit, I guess, mindless, because I don't have to necessarily pay attention to, oh, does this look like this person? Does this look like, is the shape correct? But yeah, so it's kind of fun. I appreciate anybody who's joining in and tuning in and joining in the chat. Never thought I'd actually have people like actually chatting with me. I have a few people that do, but and your friendly neighbor cat at the window, meow. Farewell, Hugh, and thank you so much for tuning in. Follow me on YouTube at Inkeater, or on Instagram. I'd really like your energy, and I appreciate the actual contribution. So he's gonna be called the Tofu Carne Asada Taco. And if you haven't, Hugh, tried carne asada tacos made up with tofu, definitely Google that, because it is amazing. Like, it's life-changing, especially if you're somebody who either A, has never had tofu, or is looking for a different way to eat tofu. Definitely. But thank you, Hugh, for tuning in and coming by. I appreciate the friendly neighborhood cat. So I heard about the new Unsolved Mysteries, though I haven't. Get you, like, I am totally a sucker for Robert Stack. I don't really care for the new Unsolved Mysteries. I love the fact that they have the actual episodes available to stream for if you're an Amazon Prime member. I feel like such an infomercial, but no, I watch a lot of I'm somebody who, if I'm looking to fall asleep to something, I look for something that's like nostalgic, and for me it happens to be Unsolved Mysteries, or ooh, what is it? The Close Encounters? Close Encounters of the... It's that one where they do it's different episodes of different things. It's kind of like, I would say, like a modern take on... Oh shoot, my brain is escaping me. Jeez. The Outer Limits. No, maybe it's called Outer Limits. It's called Outer Limits, not Close Encounters. Gosh, brain. Yeah, Outer Limits. That's another one that I gravitate towards. I like watching Outer Limits and Unsolved Mysteries, the old school one on Amazon Prime when I'm trying to fall asleep. Or I like listening to those YouTubers that do mystery stories, where you don't necessarily have to like watch the screen. You can actually just listen. But I thought it was neat that they were trying to bring back, like, the season, because there's not that many episodes, was a little bit short. And they were lackluster, I will say that. Like, I thought maybe they would pick better mysteries, or give you more mysteries. I don't know. I feel like the older stuff was a lot better. So, Beth from Red Rum Records just showed the LP soundtrack to the original show. I have a couple too. Oh, that is so cool! You know, it's funny. That's probably like the one thing that I've been wanting to share. Is my records that I have that are I have a ton of like horror-esque records and a lot of soundtrack horror records, and it's kind of funny. Let me see if I can sneak that in as I throw in more videos on top of more videos, but I'm like, I'm already doing live streams and I'm already doing that, and hey, if somebody's gonna complain about my video output, that's no problem, right? But that is so cool. I gotta check that out. I'm definitely, let me write that down. So, Beth, Red Rum Records. I don't want to forget that, so if I write it down, I won't forget. But yeah, that's cool that you have some too. I don't think I have Close Encounters. I want to say, no, Outer Limits, sorry. The TV series, I do have some of that, and then I have, like I said, a bunch of horror soundtracks. I know in the past I've shared for Vinyl Wednesday, or Vinyl and Music News, I've shared some Halloween-esque records. But it's funny because it's like I keep forgetting that I have them, and then when I go to rearrange my record collection, that's when I remember. And I don't know if that happens to anybody else. Like, I have way too much records. I don't know, recently had that moment of like, should I get rid of some of these records? I think everybody has that moment with themselves, and then you're gonna regret it. And knowing me, I'm not gonna do it. It's awesome. So I'm gonna guess that if I Google Beth Red Rum Records, I should be able to find her, right? Let me know in the chat. If not, I want to take down like whatever her username is so that I can look it up after. Because I always like finding other people to see who talk about music, just because I'm such a music nerd. And also, if you don't know, I actually work in a sound arc. We deal with vintage recordings from the early 1900s, and then there's a large Jewish collection, and then a large jazz collection as well. So a lot of my music nerdiness on my YouTube channel is just a byproduct of a lot of the stuff that rattles around in my head, or just stuff that I learned over time. But I'm always down to find other people that talk records. Everybody collects something different, but then for different reasons. And it's interesting how everybody talks about their records. I don't know. I don't know if you do Instagram, Carm, but there was some kind of like a daily photo challenge where they were taking pictures of certain records, but it had to, like, you have to take a picture of like your record collection, and it's kind of like they give you kind of like an idea, and then you kind of take that picture. that makes any sense. Idea prompt, photo prompt. I don't know what you would call that. She's a YouTuber under that name. Yep, just like with tonight's live stream or probably tomorrow. But yeah, I love talking music. I love hearing people talk about music. I will say that's the one thing that I missed this year, especially with everything that's been going on with coronavirus and not much going on and things being shut down, is, man, I miss concerts. I started going, like, I don't know about anybody else, but like concerts make me happy. I love going to concerts. I love going to concerts alone, especially because, man, nothing's a bummer more than anything than when you go with somebody who just is a party pooper the whole way. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that, but that's kind of like, oh man, I miss concerts. I don't necessarily miss the crowdedness of them, but I miss the energy and just getting to hear something live, if that makes any sense, for lack of better words. But I'm definitely going to, I'm going to definitely try to figure one of these weeks, especially like, because, man, I'm not going to miss out on talking about my records another year. Because it's funny, I've actually pulled these records out. Well, not pulled them out exactly, but I have them aggregated together because I'm like, no, I want to make a video about this. And I just keep putting it off. But you know what? Me and you talked about it, and I'm going to figure out a way to make that happen. Even if I'm putting out more videos than YouTube feels I should be. Because you want to know something? I just like creating stuff. I think that's kind of why I share as much as I do in terms of my creations. One thing that I really want to get back into doing is I want to get back into the creative stuff, like animating stuff and bringing things to life. I like doing animation specifically. I just gotta figure out how to like build up the wheelhouse, so to speak, if that makes any sense. I miss that too. I'm a stagehand and out of work for a while, alas. Oh wow, that is so cool that you're a stagehand, but that's such a bummer. Yeah, no, work is weird right now. Me, I work, like I said, I work in a sound archive, and I work, it's within a university and a library, and I've had to get really creative in terms of how we do our content and what it is that we're displaying, because essentially it relates to students and what students want to do. But something with where I drew Desi Arnaz's portrait, because we have Desi Arnaz recordings. But life is weird right now. Like, I go to work half the week, and then the other half of the week I work from home, which, man, I feel for people who are working from home right now. It's crazy, and then there's so many things going on. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer to anybody here in the chat. I don't want to be that Debbie Downer, but it's the reality. It's crazy. By all means, if you're feeling it, do it. Totally. Only ever YouTube here as far as social media. I've done record nerd videos for 7 years now. see, it's funny. I started doing record videos out of the fact that I needed to settle in my head from work or stuff that I would be researching for stuff for work, and I would learn something super nerdy, and I was like, you want to know something? This needs to come out somehow, because I can't keep living with it in my head. And also, I like seeing people's record collections, and I think it's interesting how everybody collects something for a different reason. I wouldn't expect, hold on a second, I'm gonna cough. A nerdy collection that I have, that most people wouldn't expect in terms of records. I have a whole Star Trek collection of recordings. I love Star Trek, and I've collected all the different sound. But, and then I also have collections of recordings that I've just purchased because I liked the artwork. I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. But I'm definitely, you're right. If I'm feeling it, I'm gonna do it. I'm totally going to make a video of my horror collection. Or at least I'm gonna share some of it. Gotta keep some back, right? Gotta keep you guys coming back for more. Just because life has been crazy and I've been doing a lot more drawing videos just because it's something fun and it's something that isn't, well, they are time consuming in a certain aspect, but they're not time consuming because I know what the outcome is versus having to use your brain a lot more, if that makes any sense. But I'm trying to get back into the flow of normalcy. Plus, you know, I can't say it, but grandma leaving Earth and everything, my abuelita leaving Earth, life has been kind of really weird, trying to like get used to stuff and doing stuff, and I'm like, nah, can't live in sadless land. We all have our reason and what draws us in. Oh, totally. But I like that. I like the fact that we all have our reasons, and it's kind of cool. I don't know, like music to me, it's so interesting how we may not like the same kind of music, but we can, with this shoe right here, we're just gonna leave it at it's existing. But yeah, life has been nutty and crazy, and honestly, like my only constant has been horror movies and just taking it one day at a time. But I will say, it is nuts to see. Ah, man, some people don't even know that there's like bigger fish in this world to fry. Like, not everything deserves that amount of attention. But yeah, life has been weird. But I miss concerts. Just going and listening to the music and getting lost. But other than that, I mean, I love the fact that I can get in my car and blast my music and turn it all the way up, and I can have my own little personal private concert in my car, which is interesting. I found out recently not everybody blasts their music. I like blasting my music. I just feel like there's little nuances that you don't hear when you're not listening to music really loud. But that's just me. But yeah, I've found out that not everybody listens to their music really loud, and I'm just like, we're gonna do some singe marks on our tofu taco. Tofu taco. It's taking me like all my strength not to sit here and make sound effects while I'm drawing, but I'm gonna share my silly songs. Oh man, isn't it funny how life works? So we've got lettuce and tofu carne asada, courtesy of Hugh, who showed up and gave us that suggestion. That is fun. I've been taking long drives with CDs for the road, kind of loud, depending. Yeah, I know it depends on the song, but I just, that's another video that is on my list, is, I talked about it, I think, a while back on one of my videos where we were talking about music, where it's the little sounds in music, you know, those little sounds that you love in that particular song that nobody else pays attention to, that you absolutely adore, or like little nuances in sound that you just like. That is something that, I don't know, that's why I listen to music really loud. I really shouldn't, but I do. But that's been kind of like my little bit of fun, driving, when I have to drive into work, is just turning the dial all the way up, just cranking that shit up. there's something about that. And I don't know if it's like growing up as a kid and thinking like, man, if I ever have a car, I'm gonna crank that shit all the way up, and blast it. But we've been driving to, just driving around your state and going around. That's always fun. I really like going on roads that I've never been on before to find different ways to get to places. One of my favorite drives, if you're ever in the state of Florida, specifically South Florida, I will say, is going, well, if you're in Fort Lauderdale specifically, is getting to, from Griffin, we're essentially like this backwoodsy way that you get to touch the Everglades and you get to see the Everglades all around you. It's not your typical Florida, unless you're probably like, I guess, from up northern Florida, but you get to go by the Everglades, you get to drive through the Everglades, you get to go by the Miccosukee Indians, and you can literally take this road, Chrome is the road, all to take to go visit my grandmother all the time, but it's so beautiful and it's so not Florida. It makes you feel like you're not in South Florida. Also Everglades. I have like this like nostalgia for the Everglades just because my mom and my dad used to take us on so many different like trips. But the really cool part is if you're like a history mobsters is what I want to say. It's the way that Al Capone used to take to smuggle liquor through Florida, and it is probably like one of my favorite drives that I take. I haven't taken it recently because, yeah, Grandma left to outer space, but it is my favorite way, like the traffic and the bullshit, and you can kind of like relax and coast. I don't know, like if you're from Florida, I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. There's those roads that you just like taking. For me, I don't like going necessarily really fast on the highway and like speeding down the highway. Granted, I will say if you took me to California, I will tell you flat out, there's a specific highway that I like, and there's a specific road that I like taking at night, and you get to see all the stars down in Mexico from this particular town. And it's so beautiful that the way the sky lights up. I was talking about that in my last video, the nuances of music and the imagery they invoke. Isn't it amazing? Like, I don't know, like I love that part about music. I gotta check out that video, Carm. Definitely gonna check that out when I'm done with my live stream, or probably is something amazing. I don't know, like I don't think I can ever get bored of music. Like whether I'm playing it, whether I'm listening to it, whether there's a documentary going on that I'm watching. And there's so many good documentaries that have come out recently. Oh man. There's a few. That's another whole subject. Like, there's a lot of nerdy things that I want to talk about that I just haven't had the time, or I just haven't had the mindset. I gotta write down these ideas. But I recently saw, I was doing this one movie for work, Divas of Blues, I think is what it was called. It was a documentary talking about how certain female musicians from the early 1900s were either bisexual or lesbians, and that it's not necessarily like a thing of just today, you know, that they were themselves and they were loud and proud, and it was really eye-opening in some cases. And I knew that Bessie Smith was, but the one that I was like, whoa, really, was Billie Holiday. That Billie Holiday had quite a few lesbian affairs, and I forget the woman that she actually, Tallulah Bankhead, that apparently she had a relationship with Tallulah Bankhead, And I was like, whoa, no way, did not know that. But there's other documentaries that I've seen. I know there's one, I think it's called Dirt. I want to say it's called Dirt. I could be wrong. I'm trying to draw singe marks on my tofu carne asada. I don't know how well that's translating, but we're just going to go with it. But it was called Dirt, and I forget the band Motley Crue. I think it was Motley Crue. I want to say it might have been Motley Crue. I could be wrong. All bands from like the 80s kind of like all merged together for me. That one's interesting. That one's on Netflix. And then there was one that, if you watched, I touched on it in my video where I was drawing a zombie-esque John Lennon. I don't remember what the name of the movie is, but they did kind of like a biopic about John Lennon and the fan that actually shot him and killed him. And it was a movie that I caught, I think I want to say I caught it on Amazon Prime. And I was surprised at how well it was, like just how good it was. And I was kind of curious, like, why is nobody talking about this movie? And I can only imagine it's because Lindsay Lohan was in it. She played one of the fans that would hang out outside of John Lennon's apartments, and then she hung out with the fan. Like it was kind of like a fictional story, but the person that played the fictional, a great actor. I hadn't seen anything with him recently, and I really liked the role that he played in that film. But I saw that a while back. But I know I talked about it in that video. Like, I've been sneaking in my little nerdy music stuff where I can, where it fits. I'm gonna start with doing my horror albums. I'll pick a long stretch of road and just go for an hour or so. Haven't been to Florida yet. I'm in Illinois. Oh, that's awesome. I've been to Illinois. I've been to, I can't think of the little small, like, you know, the downtown area, or at least it was like within driving distance of the downtown area where I was, but I went to go pick up a record collection, in Chicago, like, ooh, I forget how many years ago. But I remember I got to sit in the park in downtown. I didn't get to see the Bean, because it was a really super foggy day. And that was incredible. Like, I will say the drive going into downtown and the buildings. Being somebody who's from Florida, that was probably like the most beautiful and most stunning view. I mean, granted, it might be just like, oh, just your average view for yourself because you see it all the time. But for me, somebody who comes from Florida, it was a tough time once I picked up the record collection because we had some kerfuffles that happened because the company that was coming to pick up the collection couldn't pick it up or rescheduled. So the day that I had planned to go sightseeing, because I had given myself one day to sightsee in Chicago, ended up being the day that we had to wait for them to come back, and I had very limited amount of time. And I remember it was super foggy that day, and because there were lilies. I want to say there were lily flowers. We don't really have these types of flowers down in Florida, like not natively, and they don't grow as well because of the humidity. I want to say, because I really don't see them down here. I want to say they were lilies, or tulips. Excuse me, not lilies, tulips, and they were like all over the place, and they were gorgeous. And man, I will say some of the stuff that you guys get up in that area in terms of like views and in terms of like I guess seasons, because you guys experience seasons more than us down here in Florida. But oh my goodness. But yeah, I remember I had enough time to go check out the museum that was downtown, the Contemporary Art Museum, and I got to eat a Chicago style hot dog in the park. And I got to sit down in the park and just enjoy it. and I got to wander around the museum. But I could totally get behind driving with some music and going on that road. There's a feline cameo too. Same here, never bored with music. It's my lifeline. Oh, same. Like, music is in my soul, deep, deep down in it. I really love music. Have not heard about the Lennon one. Yeah, if I can remember the name of the Lennon one, I will either leave it in a message down, somewhere, and they tell you about a situation that went down. There were a few that I watched a while back that were related to Nirvana and the whole Kurt Cobain thing. And, like, this is going way back, but there's also quite a few really good audio books, too. I can't think of the one that I want to say off the top of my head. I'll probably leave that for another time when I can remember, or I can actually go, oh, that's what it is, because my phone actually just died. If not, I'd be going on my, I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and a lot of them were by musicians. Specifically, I've been listening to, what's the artist? He's written 2 books, and one of them I want to say is purely about his sexcapades. So if you want to hear about Moby's sex life, go for it. But I'm listening to the audiobook A Certain Opinion before I even talk about it. But it's interesting to me, like, getting to hear more about the lives of musicians and creatives in general, I want to say. Nice, glad you got to experience all that here. Oh yeah, like, even though I had barely any time, because of that whole kerfuffle that happened when we picked up the collection, I really enjoyed that little bit of time that I got. Granted, I think the other food item that was really incredible that I was surprised by was I had a gyro, a gyro while I was there. And I don't remember the name of the place, but it was like almost like a fast foodish type joint, but the food smelled utterly incredible, and it was absolutely freaking delicious. And I will never forget, like, I'm a food person, I'm a foodie at heart, I'm a fat kid at heart, so, like, a place is just going to a place and getting to experience a museum, something about the history about that place, and just getting to see the architecture. I don't know, like, Florida is so lackluster when it comes to architecture, or rather that whole red brick old building type vibe that you get in, like, Chicago, Illinois in general, or in Cleveland. There's just something really beautiful, just like my mom's from upstate New York in the Lake George region, more towards the capital of Albany. Well, we're actually like a few hours away from Albany, but it's beautiful. Like, it's visually, like, I don't know how to quite explain it other than you have to be there. Like, there's all these big lakes and these mountains, and oh man, my mom's family lives in the Adirondack Park, and it is absolutely gorgeous, but for its own reasons. Like, I think every place has its beauty. But that's what I love about visiting places. I'm from Berwyn. What Sevenguli put on the map? Oh yes, I take the beauty of the Chicago skyline for granted. I think we all take wherever we come from for granted sometimes. We don't realize how beautiful it is until we leave, or we don't realize just how great something is until it's gone. That's like, I used to, and I never went to a Comic-Con, and I was always there during the summer, and it's those things that you're like, dang, why did I do that? So we all have our moments where you take something for granted. Oh man, that's like me. I never realized just how beautiful Florida is until I'm literally on my way home from visiting my mom, and I usually go and visit her during the holidays, around December, holidays with her. And I never realized how much I love Florida until we're coming across, you know, when you get lower to like your state and you're able to see like, and you're able to make out things like, oh, you're able to see lights, and you're able to see certain things that, you know, like you're in the state that you're from. And I will say for me, it has to be at nighttime when you can see part of Florida lighting up and the rest of it not lighting up because it's swampland. And then when you land in Fort Lauderdale, so I'm specifically from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is in South Florida, and down view of Fort Lauderdale, it's nothing as epic as like a Chicago skyline or a New York City skyline, but it's Fort Lauderdale and you know what it looks like, and you know what each building shape looks like. And there's something beautiful about that for me whenever I leave the state and I come home to Florida and I see the downtown for like one of those busy cities, like like even downtown Chicago. I would love to live there, or I would love to live in New York City, but I don't know I don't know if I would, if that makes any sense. I like the hustle and the bustle idea of like living somewhere busy and fast paced just because I'm from Florida, but I don't know. I think I'm jealous of all the public transportation in some respect in those particular places. But there's so many places that I travel to. I can get food like of all kinds with the exception of certain foods. Like, man, I miss Hawaiian food. Hawaiian food in California was delicious, ridiculously delicious, and it's probably the one thing that I miss, along with like burritos. I miss big giant California burritos. But yeah, no, there's always something that you miss from somewhere else. But I am jealous of the beauty that some states get. And I will say the seasons that you guys get, granted, I don't think I could deal with a snowstorm. I feel for you people when you guys have to deal with snowstorms. That doesn't sound fun. I like my hurricanes and I like knowing where my hurricanes are coming from. I'm not a fan of tornadoes and all the other jazz that goes on in other states and things that they have to be. Hurricane, no thank you. Snowstorm any day of the week. My favorite documentaries are on artists for sure. If you're ever back up here, by all means, let me know. Oh, definitely. Like if I ever, you know, when things die down a little bit and I'm able to travel, there's so many things that I actually want to do and go and see. I've been building up my bucket list of things that I want to go and do and see, and definitely the bean is one of them. So if I ever end up that way, I'll definitely let you know, Carm. Another place that I want to go to is I want to go to New York City. The fat kid in me, the kid that loves to eat food. I've seen so many videos of different food places. Even now during Corona, there's a few YouTubers that still do food reviews of places that are, you know, that still have business in this time. And I'm like, oh gosh, when I go visit my mom, I'm like, I want to go to the city. Granted, it's quite a little bits away, so it might be like a train ride down, but there's so many food places that I want to eat. But yeah, there's that, and then I want, what's another thing I want to do? Oh, I want to go to Marfa, Texas. I want to go see the art installations in Marfa, Texas. And I want to go see the Northern Lights. That's another one thing that I want to go and do. There's also, by my mom in Vermont, because we live really close to Vermont. Like my mom's like, I would say like roughly like maybe like 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes to the border of Vermont. Not Vermont, yeah, Vermont, yeah, because Maine is a little bit further. Like, okay, so essentially I want to go to the Ben & Jerry's museum, and then also there's a tour, a Stephen King tour, where basically you get to tour all the different things Stephen King And I'm like, oh, that sounds like total fun. And it's a steal of a price. And then also, my mom, and this is really nerdy, and I'm okay. I own it. Um, there's a Jello mom. You can't just talk about this Jello museum and not take me to this Jello museum. Like, there are all these really weird museums in upstate New York where my family's from that I'm like, we need to record these and go to these. That's just like, there's another museum that I want to go to, but it has limited hours whenever I go up there to go visit my mom, and it's in the next town up from us. Can't think of what it's called. Chestertown? Or town. But if you're a Star Trek fan, there's a Star Trek museum, and it's a bunch of equipment from Desilu Studios. Because if you don't know, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz helped produce Star Trek, and so the whole tongue twister here. So Lucille Ball, apparently when she passed away, donated a bunch of this stuff, and I guess it's the town that she basically is from, so to speak. And within this small town, which you would never guess, there is a whole Star Trek museum. And every time I go up there, I have pictures from the outside. Like, you can see, like, the sign on the outside, and you can see two of the creatures from Star Trek. And I'm like, I want to go to this. And so that's definitely on my bucket list, and I'm going to probably try to make it happen. I'm not willing to go into an airport right now and fly anywhere anytime soon. And then also, you have to quarantine. So, like, if I visited my mom, I'd have to quarantine for, like, 14 days. But there is a Star Trek museum in upstate New York. There's all this weird and quirky stuff. There's even a documentary about, which I find wild. I don't know, when you grow up with things, I think it's just bizarre when people are so weirded out by certain things. So, north of us, there is this all year round. And there's a documentary about that, and it was funny because one of the people that I locally, who I submit things to their art gallery and their art shows, recently moved up to that area, and she was like, oh my god, this is wild. There's a Santa Claus Village place, and there's this documentary about this town. And I'm like, yeah, I grew up with that. And to me, it's wild how sometimes people hype some things up. Like, I think everybody, if you follow Netflix, everyone's talking about Florida, and they're like, oh, Tiger King. But I think that's interesting. But it was funny because she brought it up. But there's that, and I'm trying to think what else. Northern Lights. I don't know if you've seen the Northern Lights. That's another thing on my bucket list of Spirit. I have no idea what you said in... I'm gonna guess that's Japanese. I'm not sure. I'm bummed out. I don't know what she said, but hello, and thank you for joining us. I love autumn right now. No, not into snowstorms either, or 27 below zero. See, I always make fun of my mom when she calls me, and she tells me that she's in, like... She's like, it was 80 this morning, it's 40 right now. And it's like, I'm sorry, you signed up for that, not me. I'm like, give me hurricanes any day of the week. Any day. I take hurricanes. Oh yes, beauty surrounds us. Just need to be open and receptive to it, regardless of what the naysayers say. Oh, totally. And yes, we must own our nerdiness. I own mine very, very well. I wear my nerdy and weird flag loud and proud. So, we've been going for an hour and 30 minutes now. It's been fun drawing and actually talking with you guys. Normally, I don't talk the entire time. I usually will leave music playing in the background, so this is kind of fun for a change. Definitely going to switch it up from here on out, you know, now that I know that I can actually manage. Anyway, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a thicker outline. Gonna probably erase some of the lines we've got going on here in a minute. But yeah. And I just miss work weeks being normal. And knowing what my work week was gonna be like. And I mean, granted, I've kind of normalized it, but life is weird. This whole year is weird, though. I will say that. Mr. Taco looks very cool there. Yeah, he's looking pretty decent. I'm actually pretty... I don't know why he's holding the butter knife, so we can only assume that animating Mr. Taco. And we're gonna call him Mr. Taco, because you just named him Gorbo. Oh man. It's been an awesome night. I appreciate all the suggestions. Even Hugh, who came in and suggested, no, he's a tofu carne asada taco. Which, man, I'm kind of glad that I kind of got into the flow of it. And it's funny because last week I wanted to, like, just skip out on it, and I couldn't. I really couldn't. It's kind of become a habit. And it's kind of a good habit. Plus, I get to interact with you guys a lot more. And, I mean, things are changing so much. And plus, you know, I don't know. I have all this time now, and it's funny. I was talking about this with, he's a rapper. His name is Tumex. He's from Monday through Friday, I believe. And he loves to talk old school hip-hop. And, he's a rapper, like I said, and what I appreciate from him is he has some really cool stories. So if you're really into just really cool stories about different musicians, and whether, I mean, if you don't care about genre and you're just like, oh, I love hearing about musicians in general, he's definitely somebody to check out. You know, the time you have until you have it, so to speak. So he was talking about, like, you don't realize things until, like, how good you had something until something happens to you, or, you know, how all of a sudden you have this time that you never had before. And it's been happening a lot because people, you know, hey, you don't have work, you don't have things to do. I was also now realizing I also not only talked about it with Tumex, I talked about this with my doctor, where, like, you don't realize, like, just what you're doing in life, and then all of a sudden you're met with all this time on your hands. And some people, they don't know how to handle that time on their hands. Like, they don't have hobbies, they don't have things that they do to keep themselves busy mentally. And it can totally screw with your head. But at the same time, I never realized, and it's kind of funny and ironic, like, I never realized when I was taking care of my grandma, just how much time that took. I always just saw it as I was going to go visit my best friend, and me and my best friend were going to go and hang out, and we were in creative stuff, and I never really questioned it. And now that I no longer am doing that, I realize, like, wow, I have all this free time and I'm able to concentrate a lot more on things. I'm actually able to focus on things a lot more, and it's wild. Like, to me, it's wild, the things that you don't realize when you're doing things. Like, I had to be told, like by a few people, like, no, you were a caretaker. And I'm like, no, I wasn't. I was visiting my best friend. Like, and it's like, no, you were a caretaker, silly. But it's Zoo Girl Taco. Yes, we are doing a taco. He is called Mr. Taco, and he is a tofu carne asada taco with a butter knife. We want to say that we're going to go with, like, some kind of, like, mystery theme. I honestly want to animate Mr. Taco, so I think we're going to end up making an animation, because I want to bring back the animated things to my YouTube channel. So if you're just joining us, my name's Alethea. I am an artist. I go by the name Ink Eater. and I normally create portraits. This week just happens to be that my Instagram poll chose taco, so we are drawing taco, and one of the suggestions made was that he have a butter knife and that the taco be a carne asada tofu taco. So that's what he is. But yeah, if you want to follow us on Instagram at Inkeater, you can definitely participate in future polls. We usually put them up on Thursdays if that's your thing, and if not, no worries. Also, we have a Facebook page if you want to follow us there. But if you're just a strictly shop, it's kind of like, hey, if it's your jam, awesome. If not, no worries. But that's kind of what we got going on right here. So let's see what else is going on in the chat. Gorvo, Carm. So yes, the new abnormal. The new abnormal for now. Yeah, like, life is wild. But I will say, like, I never realized just how much time I have now to do things that I normally just didn't before. And then how am I gonna eat, so to speak. But those are negative things that we're just not gonna talk about right now, just because, man, sometimes we need escapes from those things. And that's kind of why I do these live streams. It's an escape from reality. Also, I get to talk with you guys, and it's something that I've been meaning to do, and I'm kind of just, kind of like weirdly grateful that I have something that's a constant, which is live streaming every Saturday. But yeah, thank you guys for any of you that are tuning in. We are drawing Mr. Taco. I think we're gonna make Mr. Taco some kind of like a mystery show. He needs to be in search of something, and I haven't decided who his sidekick is, but he's gonna have a sidekick. We might draw him next week. Who knows? But anybody seems to watch. Just like food. Always looking for good food to eat. I made some brownies, just regular chocolate fudge brownies recently, and I forgot how good brownies taste because I don't normally make them, and I felt like baking recently. We've been streaming now for an hour and 40 minutes. Man, I am proud of myself. Don't normally talk the entire time. Usually we turn on some tunes and we zone out and we tell everybody to just, hang out and draw whatever it is that you want to draw. Feel free to chat in the chat if you want to chat. We're always down to talk about stuff. But this Mr. Taco, we need to put that down somewhere. He's Mr. Taco. I'm stuck on the eyes. I don't know what I want to do for the eyes. Like, I'm probably going to shade them in a little bit and probably add little whites to the pupils. But let's focus in on the knife right now. He's got a butter knife. Why he has a butter knife, we don't know. Maybe he's a killer, maybe he's not. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an awesome night. I definitely am enjoying myself. It's been a great live stream, and I appreciate anybody who's actually tuned in and joined in on the chat. But yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, I was talking about 2Mex and how just you don't realize what else is going through as well, and you just don't realize like how much life can take from you. But yeah, I've got a bucket list of places I want to go. I've been using my time wisely in that sense. I'm now gonna probably focus on the eyes. I'm trying to animate him. I want to be able to do it and not mess up. So I'm probably gonna color him digitally. I was gonna bust out my watercolors, but I think I'm gonna color him digitally. I might do that actually tomorrow. So you know what? We might live stream tomorrow so you guys can see us coloring him. trying to be more, tried to showcase, we tried to crochet live, and I realized that my camera setup was just not conducive to what I wanted to do. And so if you notice, this is a new desk, or rather it's a desk from out in my living room that I brought into my bedroom. So we're gonna have more options in terms of different live streams. Because I try to do it thinking like, oh, this is gonna be easy, and I don't know about anybody else, but when you wait to do things at last minute and you think it's going to be like a quick and easy fix, it's usually not going to be that quick, easy fix you think, and you're going to break something. At least that's my track record. A show I would definitely tune into, Taco as the lead. You know what? Mr. Taco needs to become a YouTube channel, but I never released like actual animations except for one, where it was the beginnings of it, which was Moko Industries, Mr. Moko. I don't know if you caught that, Carm. If not, I'm gonna have to. I miss animating, and I miss creating cartoons and creations. I really miss, if you guys have been watching my YouTube channel for a while, and even if you haven't, it's still on my YouTube channel and you can find it. Some of it's cringeworthy, but I just like bringing creations to life. But I miss making ink drop videos. I miss doing the videos with ink drop. I miss doing the videos with Zombie, my dinosaur buddy, He-Man. I miss the creative videos, so definitely gonna be getting back up on that. I mean, how can I not? We've got Mr. Taco, and he needs to come to life. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, where you make something and you're just like, no, somebody needs to see this. This needs to become a thing, or actually I need to bring this thing to life. That's me. I can't live with an idea in my head, because it sits there and it rattles, and if I don't make the thing, it just continuously rattles in my head until I make it, and then it's gone, and then I no longer have to think about it. Have enjoyed joining you here, chatting and watching Mr. Taco. Yes, heart is pitting for travel to again one day. It's buffering a little bit, so I'm missing a little bit there, here and there, unfortunately. No worries, Gorvo. It's probably, I can see it. So, this is Mr. Taco. Thank you, Carm. I could go between Gorvo and Carm, but thank you, Carm, for tuning in. And thank you for watching Mr. Taco come to life. I'm probably gonna tune out in a little bit, just so that, I'm just probably gonna go, just because I thought I might actually draw more, but you know what? I want to take this and color it digitally, so I'm gonna leave that probably till tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled. I actually might go live tomorrow, in case you are just tuning in. Here drawing Mr. Taco, and he is a Carne Asada Tofu Taco, who I haven't decided if he's a serial killer yet. We're gonna go with he might be a serial killer because he's got a butter knife and we don't know what that's about. But tune in tomorrow to see if we don't end up coloring him live. So follow me, subscribe. That's your thing. I appreciate every single person who tuned in tonight and watched Mr. Taco come to life. And I appreciate all the conversations that we had. And yeah. And to anybody who just tuned in, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that we're going to be cutting this short here in a minute. But I think he needs to be colored in a little bit, and I want to animate him, so I might leave that just to tomorrow, just because I don't think I can just switch off the setup. But I want to say that the stream is probably going a little bit wonky, and it's probably lagging because of the internet connection, because I can see that it's when it's going up and when it's going down, and I appreciate it if you guys told me in the chat about that. So I'm just going to take that as my cue of we are going to go. But like I said, we live stream just about every Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if that's totally your thing, then definitely subscribe, follow us. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And that's pretty much it. I really hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday into Sunday, wherever you guys are. Just gonna finish up his eyeballs. And then I'm gonna leave Mr. Taco alone because I don't want... I'm gonna end up going darker and darker, or I'm gonna end up busting out my watercolors. And I would really love to scan him and then digitally color him. So tune in tomorrow. We might actually go live again. Just because, man, this was really fun. But definitely we do it every Saturday at 11 p.m. Appreciate you tuning in as long as you have. And so this is what Mr. Taco ended up looking like. I want to add little white highlights to his eyes, but I'm going to hold off for right now. And, ooh, I just got an idea for a backstory for Mr. Taco. So, he's a tofu carne asada taco on a vengeance. I don't know what for, but he's on a vengeance for something. We're gonna leave this till next week. So if you want to actually choose or have a choice in what ends up becoming of Mr. Tofu Taco or Mr. Taco, oh my gosh, Mr. Tofu Taco, Mr. TT. He's gonna be Mr. Tofu Taco. Sorry, I'm getting a kick out of this way too much. Oh man, he needs to come to life and start talking. I don't know what kind of a voice he's gonna have, but this is definitely freaking awesome. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Week. Because everybody needs a great fucking week with everything that's been going on. And if you don't, eat something fucking delicious. Anyway, hope you guys are doing awesome. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm gonna get going. I appreciate every single one of you, and if you want to follow me, everything in my social media is at InkEater, and if you want to follow my YouTube channel, definitely follow it at InkEater on YouTube, where we are exploring cryptids worldwide right now. Stay awesome, be awesome, and have a great fucking week.